Scout, said Atticus. Nigger lover is just one of those terms that don't mean anything, like snot nose. It's hard to explain, ignorant. Trashy people use it when they think somebody's favoring Negroes over and above themselves. It's slipped into usage with some people like ourselves, when they want a common, ugly term to label somebody. You aren't really a nigger lover, then, are you? I certainly am. I do my best to love everybody. I'm hard put, sometimes, baby. It's never an insult to be called what somebody thinks is a bad name. It just shows you how poor that person is. It doesn't hurt you. You ain't got no business bringin' white chillin' here. They got their church. We got ourn. It is our church, ain't it, Miss Cal? When I looked down the pathway again, Lula was gone. In her place was a solid mass of colored people. One of them stepped from the crowd. It was Zevo, the garbage collector. Mr. Jem, he said, we're mighty glad to have you all here. Don't pay no attention to Lula. She's contentious because Reverend Sykes threatened to church her. She's a troublemaker from way back. Got fancy ideas in haughty ways. It's right hard to say, she said. Suppose you and Scout talked colored folks talk at home, it'd be out of place, wouldn't it? Now what if I talked white folks talk at church, and with my neighbors? They'd think I was putting on airs to beat Moses. But Cal, you know better. I said, it's not necessary to tell all you know. It's not ladylike, in the second place. Folks don't like to have somebody around knowing more than they do. It aggravates them. You're not gonna change any of them by talking right. They've got to want to learn themselves. And when they don't want to learn, there's nothing you can do but keep your mouth shut. We ain't Negroes. Uncle Jack Finch says we really don't know. He says as far as he can trace back the Finches we ain't. But for all he knows we might have come straight out of Ethiopia during the Old Testament. Well, if we came out during the Old Testament, it's too long ago to matter. That's what I thought, said Jem. But around here, once you have a drop of Negro blood, that makes you all black. She was white, and she tempted a Negro. She did something that in our society is unspeakable. She kissed a black man, not an old uncle, but a strong young Negro man. No code mattered to her before she broke it, but it came crashing down on her afterward. The lie is black as Tom Robinson's skin. A lie I do not have to point out to you. You know the truth, and the truth is this. Some Negroes lie. Some Negroes are immoral. Some Negro men are not to be trusted around women, black or white. But this is a truth that applies to the human race and to no particular race of men. There is not a person in this courtroom who has never told a lie, who has never done any immoral thing. And there is no man living who has never looked upon in our world that makes men lose their heads. They couldn't be fair if they tried. In our courts, when it's a white man's word against a black man's, the white man always wins. They're ugly. But those are the facts of life. The one place where a man ought to get a square deal is in a courtroom, be he any color of the rainbow. But people have a way of carrying their resentment. Atticus says as you grow older, you'll see white men cheat black men every day of your life. But let me tell you something, and don't you forget it. Whenever a white man does that to a black man, no matter who he is, how rich he is, or how fine a family he comes from, that white man is trash. Atticus was speaking so quietly his last word crashed on our ears. I looked up, and his face was vehement. There's nothing more sickening to me than a low-grade white man who'll take advantage of a Negro's ignorance. Don't fool yourselves. It's all adding up, and one of these days we're going to pay the bill for it. I hope it's not in Tom's death was typical of a nigger to cut and run. Typical of a nigger's mentality to have no plan, no thought for the future. Just run blind first chance he saw. Funny thing, Atticus Finch might have got him off scot-free. But wait, hell no, you know how they are, easy come, easy go, just shows you. That Robinson boy was legally married. They say he kept himself clean, went to church and all that. But when it comes down to the line, the veneer's mighty thin. Nigger always comes out in 'em.